dance!
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Fuel and Fire podcast. I'm your host, FaZe. I'm joined today with Tyler, who doesn't use his words apparently. He just puts up the feet symbol for those of you not watching.
Love and peace, yeah.
James is also here.
How's it going?
Good. Thank you for talking. And finally, we got Greg.
Yo, what's up?
What's up? So, I don't know, initially, the beginning of the season, having the Oilers versus the Flames, it seemed kind of, they're in such different spots, and, it's just two different conversations.
We can't even share a podcast.
You can't even share a podcast. Like, it's just, I zone out. I don't care about the draft. I didn't care about the draft. Now, it's, we're a little closer in the standings, a little too close for comfort.
American Thanksgiving, the
American
proverbial flagpole, yeah.
Oh yeah, the magic time, and it's it's something. I mean, James, I guess for you guys in Calgary, this is what you expected, and this is all good for you.
It's, I would say, maybe not expected, but not unsurprised, if that makes sense. I think this is kind of the results that everybody expected last year, and then, hey, to their credit, they proved everybody wrong, and they proved me especially wrong, basically, in all of my preseason predictions, which is why I didn't really make any predictions this year. I just kind of said, they'll probably be middle of the pack again, and then, hey, they did not get up to a good start, and to their credit, they've kind of recovered over the last 7 or so games. By recovered, I mean like they're almost 500, so in not really recoverable, but yeah, they've not gotten off to a good start, and the fan base is kind of in panic right now because the Flames decided, let's just put out a bunch of media interviews and say everything that the fan base doesn't want, and that'll go over really well. So, yeah, shout outs to Maloney Baloney, and yeah.
Big Don with the mic drop. he's telling you what's up, No, that was definitely interesting comments. I don't know if how much play it got outside the Calgary fan base, but instantly I was like, I'm looking up what happened with Maloney Coyotes, because I don't know. I think there's a lot of things involved in the whole unraveling the context of the story between what's ownership willing to do, what's their prerogatives, and then ownership might be aligned with a president who's going to see it kind of the same way. And if you look at his work with the Coyotes, you might describe, even though he was a GM there and he's a president now, he's maybe similar circumstances to work with. You can look at his picks and you can maybe understand there were some good ones early on. There's some later ones that didn't go well, why he might be what did they say? F them picks, something like that. So it's, a really interesting story for sure.
Yeah, and I would say tone deaf would be the way that I would describe it. Where fans don't want to tear down and rebuild. Well, at the win column, we ran a fan poll, and 75% of people said they need new ownership, and 63% of people said they would support a full tear down and rebuild, and they would actually go to more games and spend money to support the team if they did a full tear down and rebuild. So it's just every single comment that he basically put out in the Sportsnet article or with the interview he did during the game as well was just okay, here's the answer that the fan base is saying and they're talking about, and this is your answer, and it's just the complete opposite side of the spectrum. We need more Nazem Kadris, not less, in a market where every single team needs a second line center, and there's 2 available in Ryan O'Reilly and Nazem Kadri. But no, we need more Nazem Kadris because...
And a right-hand D, that's valuable too. Yeah.
Rasmus Anderson, the 2 probably most valuable trade chips on the market right now. And they're I think we just got to keep the culture intact. Players are playing so well. We're second last in the league right now, I think, as we're recording this. It's just...
Fighting valiantly. Guys are trying. Could you argue that he's preserving trade value by saying things like that, though. There's not much faith that they're actually thinking that way, but get on a little conspiracy hat here and
Could be. Like all I think the fan base wanted. Like I'm not saying, hey, go and trade Kadri for a second round pick to whatever Montreal be just to get rid of him. No, hold them on. I don't assume there's any good offers right now. Like hold on until February or March or whatever. But just do what Vancouver did a couple days ago and leak to the media and say, look, veterans are available and don't say anything else. Like that's all the fan base. I'm not going out and saying trade everybody right now, pack their suitcases, I'll drive them to the airport myself. Let's get everybody out of town. No,
yeah.
it's a process. But if you're saying, hey, we're listed like Nazem Kadri is 35, Blake Coleman's 33 or whatever, Rasmus Anderson's in the last year of his deal. These are valuable pieces that we like. And if you want him, hit up Craig Conroy's phone kind of deal. Like I think that's all the fan base really wants is, hey, we have a direction. We're going to go with that. But apparently, old Donnie Boy doesn't feel the same. So I'll get.
I mean, I always have trouble with like the GM press conferences and reading too much into it. Like, everyone's on Bowman about, earlier he was like, Skinner, I think he's been playing well or he's had good games. And everyone's like, no, what are you talking about? Well, until he has another option, he's not going to throw his goalie under the bus. And the same thing, like, maybe most of the fan base in Calgary does want to hear about the rebuild. But at the same time, maybe it's like they're worried about selling tickets. Like you can talk all about how you get comments of people online saying, "Oh, I'll buy tickets." In that case, no, they probably won't. Like not to pull a Kevin Lowe, but what tier fan base is the ones on the internet commenting that, right? Like
it's a good question with the internet in general.
how many of those are just bots? Like
it is a good point.
Another thing on top of it too is like it's kind of just that personality management as well, right? Because what benefit does it have for him to say, yeah, I actually want to trade all these guys? Because then he has to walk into the office next day and look all these guys in the eyes, right?
Exactly. It's like our team sucks, you all suck. How is a player going to take that? They are human beings at the end of the day, so they're going to react to what's said in the media and what's not. And yeah, I think I always caution people from reading too much into those kinds of things, even with like coaches, saying this player had a good game or not really ripping into this player when they have a bad game. It's the same thing. They have to go into the dressing room, like Tyler said, and talk to them. So I'm sure behind closed doors, there was a clip, I think, of Knobloch just ripping into the team from behind closed doors. And all the narrative up before that was, oh, he's so quiet. He probably doesn't even say anything to the team in the dressing room. It's like, no, come on.
Yeah. The other interesting thing of this like Maloney story is that Calgary or Conroy is on his last year of his deal, right? Isn't that
he was, but
he was.
Friedman kind of just confirmed what has been kind of widely known in the market is that Conroy was getting extended, and I think that got confirmed about half an hour ago or so. So don't know how long Conroy is going to be sticking around, but yeah, that's some good news for the fan base because he's obviously a well-liked player and has drafted well given the position the Flames have been in the last couple drafts. And I know, Tyler, you could probably talk about that more than I can, but I don't think he's necessarily the solution to building a cup contender like Bill Zito in Florida, but I don't think he's the problem given that there's Don Maloney and then the henchman Murray Edwards on top of him. So I think it's good news for the Calgary market to see Conroy sticking around.
Yeah, like Conroy definitely was never the issue because they're drafting well. It's just that developmental portion that they're not necessarily excelling with, and that more or less falls more on the coach's side than the general manager's side. So, because when it comes to hockey management, it's the GM's job to get the players and the coach's job to work with them, right? And as we saw with Priak this last half a season, it's not really equal there. Not a whole lot of work going on with the players, or Cornado or Zari or any of them, right? But no, so on the bright side, Flames fans, there's going to be stability in the general manager's office just like there's stability with the team culture.
Oh, don't
Whether
get me
you like
started
it
on
or not.
I mean, speaking of team culture, I don't know if you guys all probably saw the tweet, or Sarah Valley, I think, was talking on a podcast or radio show about how the team, I guess, stood up for Pickard. The Oilers were going to make a move in net. Obviously, a lot of group chats that I'm in, our group chat was an interesting read when that came out. You know, my personal opinion on that in terms of room culture, and specifically that one, is, again, I go back to, these are people, they want to play with their friends. Obviously, you can't take that to an extreme. My personal thought on the Pickard situation is, he's not necessarily the problem. He's the backup goalie. Is really sending him down to the AHL and calling up Ingram or Tompkins or getting another backup goalie gonna be the difference maker here? Like, I think that's where people need to focus more on. I think, you know, I've gone from being a Stuart Skinner defender to a Stuart Skinner hater this season. I think he's done with the team. Whether it's he needs a fresh start like Dubnyk, or whether he's just done as an NHL goalie, I don't know. But I think that needs to be the focus, and you can't be looking at the Band-Aid. And I think Pickard's a warrior. The team plays better in front of him because he's trying to stop the puck. Like, he's doing extra things to stop the puck. Yes, that's his game, is to flail around a bit, so it looks like he's trying more. But I think that's what the team responds to. It's the same thing. They see a guy who's making league minimum, who's working his butt off, and so they want to try for him. Skinner, you know, is supposed to be a technical goalie, but his technique is just off right now completely. He falls down after he makes a save. So, you know, he's making the first save. Like against Dallas, I think 3 of the goals he made the first save, but then he completely fell out of position and the goal goes in. And I think as a team, you know, it's like, what are we supposed to do here? Like, not let any shots go on? Like, it's not possible. So
You think it's more on the goaltending than the team defense?
that's exactly. I think
It's
the
kind
team
of the two camps. Yeah.
And I think the team, it's you know, the team defense hasn't been good, but I think it's the fact that, you know, you're gripping your stick so tight, you're just like, you're overthinking what to do on defense. You're not considering, like, the Oilers are supposed to be a transition team, but you're not doing that. I don't want to say cheating for offense, but you're not playing that style because you're thinking too hard about what to do. So I mean, I think you could put prime Chris Pronger, Scott Niedermayer, and like any of those guys in front of him, and yeah, they'll do better. But I think I don't
So,
see it. The way Skinner's been playing is, I don't see him, you know, being better in front with those guys in front of him. I think at certain times at last year, yeah, if the team was slightly better in certain games, he would look fine. I think this year he's lost the plot, personally.
And especially with the Oilers system, a lot of it is just reducing that shot quality, right?
Mhm.
So even when it comes to the amount of shots per game, I think they only average, or shots against per game, they only average probably 25, 30, right?
Yeah, I think something along those
So
lines.
if you're even getting average goaltending, you know, 3 or 4 goals might win you the game, but they're just not seeing a lot of clutch from Skinner, or consistency either, right? And it's funny that they think sending Pickard down and bringing up Ingram would solve the problem, because Ingram hasn't played well with Bakersfield this season at all either.
Well, like, looking at the stats here right now, the Oilers currently are the 11th best team in terms of shots against. Like, they've got 26 shots against per game. You know, the best team in the league is Utah with 24.4 shots against. So yeah, like, they're doing their job to a certain extent. I don't have the high danger chances and shot quality chances in front of me right now, but at the end of the day, they're not playing as bad. I don't think they're as bad as they're playing, and I do think goaltending is a big part of it. And I think you can see it in games where Stu comes out hard and he has that 900 save percentage. The team is actually playing better I'd say the most part. They start to get better as the game goes on. And I think that's the quality of, okay, we're getting goaltending today. Let's go. It was the same thing with Pickard against Tampa Bay. They looked way better. It was because of that. Skinner against Florida, same thing. He played good to start, saved their butts a couple of times, and they went and they were starting to play better. So that's why my theory is that it's that way around versus the other way.
yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing that like the team is sticking up for their guy. I think that's a good spirit to show, if only to wake them up a little. Yeah. Unfortunately, Skinner is in a tough spot, but he's been better than folks.
Low bar.
So if one's gonna change, then it makes sense. Maybe salary wise, if you're gonna bring in lots of reports coming in about Bennington or Jari or potentially a slight upgrade on Skinner. We can argue about that. But yeah, it's clear that Skinner's been taxed with too much here. He's had 3 seasons of more than 50 games, including long playoff runs, and in those seasons, like it's a lot of usage to start his career. However good you think he is, like it's not an indictment to say that hey, they need more from whoever's going to be his tandem mate, you know.
Right, I see what you're saying.
If he was playing 35 games in all of these seasons, and maybe we were getting a bit more out of him and he was saving a bit more, then all of a sudden he's the guy who's behind and give him more starts, you know.
Yeah.
But instead he's been like ridden into the ground, and the Oilers, every start of the season, every start of the playoffs, they find a way to look terrible.
I mean, to be fair, the season he played the most games, he had a 905, like that season he set the Oilers.
Yeah, and
record for wins.
league save percentages are coming down on an average as
Yes,
well. And the Oilers, like, this is how Woodcroft got fired. He looked amazing, like what a freaking genius. He's going 11-7, and Vinny Desharnais is the best. It's all working out, and then the next season it doesn't start well, and they're like looking terrible. And it's like, why did you change the defensive scheme? And now Knobloch's here in a similar position, talking about maybe we need to change the defensive scheme. It's like, oh, maybe it's, I don't know, something about this team, that this cycle, call it superstition.
Either way, one thing that I'm realizing is the Oilers are picking up what the Flames are putting down in terms of team culture and player culture.
Right.
So,
can rearrange the...
But no, either way, something does have to change, and I think it's just a matter of time until we figure out what that factor is, be it the goaltending, be it the defense, be it, I don't know, maybe Hunter the Lynx isn't doing his job in the crowd. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
I think it's Toby Reeder's fault. He hasn't scored a goal this year.
I know, it's been a while.
Too much of a stick lean too much on it.
The funniest part
talk about the culture kind of part and why Canadian teams are obsessed with this mantra of nothingness? Because do you think for a second that Vegas cared when they traded Marc-Andre Fleury and pissed off the entire Golden Knights dressing room? Like, it doesn't really seem like it hurt them too much, because Mitch Marner was like, which team do I want to sign for? Or sign with? I guess I'll sign with Vegas. Like, why is Edmonton obsessed with keeping a backup goalie who has, like, what, an 830 on the year or something? Because Connor McDavid thinks he's a cool guy. Who gives?
Right.
Can I swear on this podcast? I can't.
I don't think so. Okay. I've been trying to ride the line a few times already this episode.
Who gives a flying bleep about what Connor McDavid thinks? He's extended. He's staying for a couple of years. Give him a starting goalie. It doesn't matter.
This is where I go back to. We're not talking about them. We're not talking about them defending Stuart Skinner. We're talking about them saying don't get rid of Pickard. So stop. That's what I'm saying. And it's not them saying. I mean, obviously, if it's a swap between Ingram and Pickard, Skinner's not in that conversation. But again, we're looking at the red herring here. I think Greg's right that actually does show some good in the dressing room, that they're like, this is the backup goalie. We want to keep him. Not the reason necessarily we're losing games. He's not playing well, obviously.
Yeah. Hopefully they still get a new goalie. But it's nice that the team is sticking together, and maybe it gets them to lock in a little bit.
Exactly.
A tad. All of these goals from the Stars game, it's like there's all these open guys in front of the net tapping in rebounds. It's okay.
I don't know. I can almost guarantee you that Edmonton has a Stanley Cup banner hanging up in their building one of the last 2 years if they have a goalie. But
that's fair.
It's the same thing with Calgary. This core of veteran players have made the playoffs 0 times, and I'm considering like the Huberdeau, Kadri, Uyghur summers, like the start of this core. They've been to the playoffs 0 times in 4 years. And again, that's under the assumption that they're not making the playoffs this year, which I know I'm really going on a tangent there predicting that. But I don't really give a flying bleep if Nazem Kadri is unhappy. If you're unhappy, go play somewhere else. Like I I don't care about the culture of the team because you've missed the playoffs every single year and you're 31st in the league right now. And you have Kadri and Coleman and Lomberg, who all these Stanley Cup champions, and you extended Wolf and Coronado and all these young players. We have such a great group of guys. Well, it hasn't worked. It's not working. I don't care. But and then our illustrious owner is saying, "Oh, but we can't use the word rebuild because, that's associated with Buffalo, and we don't want to be associated with Buffalo."
Buffalo doesn't want to be
Newsflash,
associated with Buffalo.
you are Buffalo. You have about the same amount of playoff wins in the last 20 years as Buffalo, and Buffalo hasn't made the playoffs in I don't know how many years, like 15 now, whatever it is. But
The
like
Ducks are good again, all the while. The Ducks and the Sharks, they're back.
that
Hear
Connor
me out,
Bedard's
guys.
leading the league.
Hear me out. What if you piss off the Flames locker room on purpose, so then it kickstarts the rebuild? Because then those players want out.
That's what James is doing right now. He's pooping on everyone, just trying to get them mad. They're like, we don't
And,
want to be in this. We don't want this fan.
Oh no, and what? And Nazem Kadri's upset and he goes to Montreal and plays in the playoffs? Like, oh no, poor him. Like, I'm sure he'll be really upset that he's not playing on the Calgary Flames in 31st place in the league. Like, do you
And
really
I'm sure the
need...
Flames would be crying over their first round pick that they get for Kadri.
Yeah,
Wah,
oh no,
wah.
we got a first round pick and Kirby Doc back, and now we have like a player that can replace Kadri in a future that can help us in X number of years. Like 35-year-old Kadri who has 4 years left, like is he really that valuable on a team that has 7 veteran players, which is insane to me, by the way. But do you need to keep him in a market where you're going to get a first round pick and an A prospect for Kadri just because you need to preserve this winning culture that I don't know why you're calling it a winning culture considering you haven't made the playoffs? And
yeah. But do you really think you're getting a first round pick and a prospect for a 35-year-old Kadri with 3 more years left?
Absolutely. In this market, absolutely. I saw Nashville. That's the asking price that they have for Ryan O'Reilly. And with all due respect to Ryan O'Reilly, who was a playoff hero in 2019, probably not the same guy back then. He's probably on a contending team, maybe a third line center. And that's maybe me being too harsh, but probably not the same guy. I think Kadri, to all of my on him on this podcast right now, he's still a very effective player, and he's probably putting up 30 goals, 70 points on a good team. Like, I mean, obviously you saw it in Colorado. If you put him behind Nate Mack, you're kind of cooking. I don't know. Like Murray Edwards, if you're magically watching this podcast right now and you're so scared of the word rebuild because fans are going to stop going to the arena, fans don't care. Fans are the average guy named Joe, who's been a season ticket holder for 10 years and works in oil and gas and yada, yada, yada. The average Calgarian, they're just going to the Flames game for something to do on a weeknight or a weekday. Like, they don't care if the team has Nazem Kadri. Like, if anything, I think they're going to be more excited to watch Zane Parekh or cough, cough, Gavin McKenna or somebody like that.
Stenberg.
Ivor Stenberg. Like, the average fan doesn't care about stuff as minute as like culture and stuff like that. They're just there to watch a game. And that's why I was kind of pissed off when I saw Elliot Friedman's reporting on 32 Thoughts that, Flames ownership was all scared because the fans were rioting after Don Maloney's interview online, and then there was nothing happening in the Saddle Dome. I was there on Saturday. There was people there with Rebuild and McKenna and stuff duct taped on the back of their jerseys. But the Flames arena is incredibly quiet, and this complete mirror image of Edmonton, which is one of the loudest and best arenas in the league. The arena is deadly quiet. Like no one's going to start chanting like "Fire Don Maloney" because the average fan that goes to a game, they might say stuff online. They're not going to start ranting in the arena because it's not the players' fault. Like the players they're not there to like hear the fans chant "Fire Don Maloney." So I don't
I
know.
also think
I
I also think it's a big difference because like with teams that maybe don't want to rebuild, they still play exciting hockey, right? So the Leafs, they're not going to rebuild, but they play exciting hockey even if they're playing badly, right? The Flames are a little bit different where they're not playing exciting hockey. They're not good. There's really no reason to like sit there and hold on to and clutch your pearls if you're Don Maloney because like that hockey isn't selling tickets anyways. So what do you have to lose? Kind of deal, right?
I mean, one perspective from, a team that did a full teardown rebuild, got rid of basically every veteran they could have and handed the keys to the kids, doesn't always work. If it wasn't for McDavid, the Oilers probably are in a similar position to Buffalo. Like, so I'm just like, I think there's a happy medium there. It's not retooling versus rebuilding. That's what I'm getting at. But it's like if you trade everyone and you give the keys to Zane Parekh, is Zane Parekh going to grow up to be a
Thrive.
Cale Makar anymore? Or is he going to be Justin Schultz? Personally, I would love it if he becomes Justin Schultz for you guys. I think that would be just absolutely fantastic.
I mean, you could argue that, like, in the rebuild, in the context of building up a team, we won't say rebuild, but like the most valuable thing that you could have is your own really high pick, you know? It's like
Mhm.
you might be trading some of these guys for late firsts or something, or prospects that other teams are kind of not thrilled with, you know? And, the Flames, they do have Vegas's first this year. I think to some extent, there might be a balance between trading absolutely everyone and being like, okay, but how are they going to thrive when they get here? But yeah,
Mhm.
I think the Flames could be a bit more assertive
Yeah.
in there. And I think having a plan and spelling it out, it's like because hockey's so loved, people I think are willing to put up with it if you can tell them the vision, you know? I think about what the Rangers did where it's like they put out the letter like we're rebuilding and treat your fans like adults, man. Like we're in on this, you know? It's a public trust a team. It's like, yeah, at least, be intentional about it.
Yeah, and to your point, Phase, I would say I would rather watch Zane Parekh. Maybe he struggles a little bit. I would rather watch him kind of struggle and them lose 5-4 than to watch them lose 2-1 and play this just boring ass Huska hockey that I mean, like Bill, our great Bill Tran of the Win column wrote an article. He was at the game on Saturday as well, and he kind of wrote about his Saddle Dome experience. And I think last game was the first time where the Flames scored a goal, and I don't even think half of the arena actually stood up to applaud. Like I don't know if people were asleep or just kind of doing whatever, but I would rather kind of see a different change of kind of what you're doing because they've tried this kind of stay competitive, just got to get in, play as hard as you can for the last 20 years. And they have 2 playoff wins, which for you Edmonton folks is kind of unheard of considering you did more than that last year, right? Like it's putting that in perspective is insane. So while it kind of sucked and you got to see Justin Schultz and whatever, all those interesting names of the 2010s. Like there was years of struggle, but you've been to the Stanley Cup Finals in back-to-back years. And if you have competent management, same with Buffalo. If Edmonton had competent management instead of Ken Holland for the last 5 years, you probably have a Stanley Cup, right?
I,
Buffalo.
I'm sorry. I feel like it's a bit weird to be like, you've been to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years in a row. You've done such a great job. You've had Ken Holland for the last 5 years, and your team sucks. Like, I don't think Ken Holland. I think he made mistakes. Sorry, that's the logic in me just saying that doesn't fully.
I would like.
Slam it.
I would say the rebuild got them to 75% of the way up the mountain, and then if they had competent management, they would have got the other 25%, if that makes sense, right? Like,
It's ironic because Greg and I were actually talking about this before we started the podcast. And if you look at the list of Oilers general managers since their golden years, they have Kevin Lowe for 8 seasons. They have Steve Tambellini during the dark ages. They have Craig McTavish, Peter Chiarelli, Ken Holland, and now Stan Bowman.
ouch.
I'd probably say Ken Holland is the best out of that list.
I'd say Kevin Lowe when it was before the salary cap, especially, was a pretty good GM, especially at finding defense and goalies, even afterwards. But sometimes you run low. But yeah, I'd say Ken Holland. He didn't do the best job. He made some mistakes.
Yeah.
Jesper Wallstead being a huge one. Although, is that on him or Tyler Wright? I don't know. But I mean, yeah, like I think Ken Holland gets a lot of flack, but Matthias Ekholm was a pretty good trade. He made some bad trades for sure, but he got Matthias
Hyman, great contract.
Signed
Campbell, terrible
signed
contract.
Terry. Yeah. He made mistakes for sure, but I
If
mean,
Darnell
yeah,
Nurse.
beat Bill Zito.
We all make mistakes. It's okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think, yeah, we were talking about it before, and I was kind of pumping the Holland tires a bit. But yeah, it's interesting to think like what makes a good GM, and especially with older fans that have been around a team that hasn't won a lot, especially if they have no championships in living memory. It's like, who was the best GM? Because they have this guy won, so he's the best. It's a hard question to answer. Like, what? Because you have to take swings, you have to take gambles, you have to take risks. You're like,
to be fair,
or do you want to? Yeah.
like the Oilers GMs, the ones they've had, Bowman and Holland, multiple Stanley Cup winners. Peter Chiarelli won a Stanley Cup. So
Right.
I'm not saying that to defend, especially like there are some questionable moves more than questionable moves by Chiarelli, but brought on by pressure. I'm pretty sure of trying to go too fast on the rebuild. To your point, James, in terms of competent management, or at the very least having a plan, like Greg said. But to what makes a good GM, some GMs are really good in one spot and they aren't in the other. And yeah, I mean.
So maybe we should have an exercise here to fix both our teams with one trade.
I've been saying from the beginning,
what are you guys gonna do? Yeah,
Justin Wolf for Stuart Skinner, with a future consideration that next year we can swap them back. Get us a cup.
Well, we could throw in like
why no,
some
James? What's the problem here?
As tempting as that offer is, really, as troubling as the Flames have been, I do take some pride in that Edmonton hasn't won a cup, and
you want to keep it that way. Devin Cooley is not going to save us.
I mean, honestly,
the almighty Cooley.
He might help.
Yeah, I don't know. Rasmus.
Hey, if you want to give us a first for Devin Cooley, I'll drive him up to Edmonton myself.
That first isn't coming until like 2029, 2045.
McDavid will be gone by then. I mean, that pick might be first overall. Who knows?
No, giving away a future first is a risky game that should always come with some kind of protection stipulation.
Like that big Wallman trade, that was a top 12 protected first. Looking like a pretty smart move at this point.
So if the Flames can if you can wrestle away some kind of future first, I really like that as a strategy. So
that would be nice. Rasmus Anderson, you want to go? I don't know.
That'd be nice.
Give us like Vegas's 2032 first or something ridiculous. No, don't actually do that. But you never know. That pick could be anything. It could even be a boat, right? It could be anything.
Right.
Feels like I'm playing NHL 15 on my PS3 at this point.
You know what people should do? Like a lot of the superstars, Crosby, McDavid, McKenna, they were identified pretty early on. Like they were identified at 13, 14 years old. A smart GM starts trading for that year that is 4 or 5 years in advance. Get as many of those first round picks.
Get those scouts out at the U15 games, goddammit.
Oh no, U12. I want them at House League or anything. Anywhere you can find these 12-year-old kids that are going to be crazy good. You find that one.
Yeah. I mean, there's something that you could say
I'm
like
joking, by the way.
from a team building perspective of like trying to time picks in a
Yeah.
certain way, like have bunches so that players can kind of grow together. I mean, it's also interesting because I think about the Oilers, like within having McDavid, there was some terrible years, but like that helped them get Bouchard and
Well,
Broberg, you know,
the
like
annoying thing is, you talk about that, about the strategy of wanting to grow. And that's why we didn't draft Wallstead, was the whole thought process.
right.
Bourgeau as a first round forward is probably going to be joining the team in 2-3 years, whereas Wallstead, to be fair, he's only showing up now.
Right.
But realistically, sometimes that strategy backfires, like we just saw.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be some planning, but I think at the end of the day, you just always have to be trying to have a quality pipeline at any given time, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know if you are going to get hot like Calgary did that one year. And if you had some decent prospects in the pipeline, you could have potentially continued that even when losing some of your players. So I think the strategy when it comes to future is, unless you're really like, because the Oilers have done it the last 3-4 years of, we're going to win the cup this year, so screw the future. And now it's, well, we didn't win the cup, and
The
we're
bill is getting more closer
exactly
and closer to being due. Yeah.
So I think and I think you look at a lot of GMs, who are successful, their teams that are successful for a long time, and it's building that pipeline and having a continuous one.
I think that's one thing that especially the Oilers have at least tried to do, because they're taking all these guys who are a little bit more advanced in age, but have that NHL possibility of either bottom six or third pairing or whatever, and trying to supplant them in with the Condors, and then slowly work at, like, we're not talking about like 18, 20-year-olds, but slowly work like 24, 23-year-olds into the lineup. And then that can help ideally extend their cup window, right? And
Yeah.
we've seen that with, like, even a Matthew Savoy would be an example of that, right? Supplementing moderate youth into an NHL lineup, so then it can extend that cup window. And they're trying to do that this year with like Robbie Yarventi or Josh Szymanski or Arto Lepinen or whoever it is, right?
Yeah, totally. And I think, and with then you don't have the picks, that's why they're going to Europe, they're going to college. Like, at least they're making proactive efforts in that sense, which is, I think that's a good thing.
And even with the Flames last season, like, obviously you guys had Wolf, but you guys still went out and signed one of the best NCAA free agent goaltenders in Owen Say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that it's an extra security blanket for a lot of these teams.
And you've seen a team like Florida use, especially the NCAA, like the free agent route. They've kind of used that as their, I guess, replenishment for their pipeline when they have gone all in on Brad Marchand and Seth Jones and Matthew Tkachuk, and I can't even remember, Claude Giroux. I think it was before that, right? Like
Sam Bennett.
and all these guys from Calgary and Buffalo who have gone on to win cups elsewhere because they don't have proper management. But hey, we've already discussed that today. But yeah, like if you have the right management, everything kind of falls in line. Like Buffalo right now would have Jack Eichel, Sam Reinhart, Rasmus Dahlin, Owen Power, like the list goes on. Tage Thompson or Ryan O'Reilly. Like
I was saying that the Oilers, the real key to winning a Stanley Cup is trading for a Buffalo player who is pretty good. Because
just anyone,
winner has a former Buffalo Sabre that everyone's like, maybe he isn't as good as we thought.
Alex Tuck? Question mark?
Tuck? I would be fine with that. Or UPL.
There we go.
And now they also don't have Corey Perry on their roster, so that's another good sign.
He went to LA, and that's the problem. Is now, does that mean LA goes to the final and loses? It's
not with
hopefully they bought him out and they trade him.
He's done it again. He's having a career year, yeah.
But no, it's always interesting because I know, like, when I talk with scouts, a lot of them will tell me, like, it's not being able to identify that superstar, because everyone can identify that superstar in the first period or two of a game. It's, can you find those guys who can be good complementary pieces later on, right? So even if it is a 4th rounder, 7th rounder, or an undrafted college free agent, that's where a lot of these contending teams are going to be able to, as I said, maintain their windows.
So guys, how are we feeling? We have anything else we want to get off our chest?
Got my Skinner rant out.
I guess, I don't know, for me, just, Don Maloney got a lot of hate, and rightfully so, but he's just the fall guy for Murray Edwards, who is just enjoying life in Switzerland, not paying taxes, and just ruining my childhood hockey team. So yeah, Murray, just you've tried this for 20 years and you have nothing to show from it. Just change things up, man. The fan base wants a change, and I don't know, do something different. Like, I don't want to watch them beat somebody 2-1 and play some defensively minded boring hockey, because I've had to watch that for years. And yeah, just do something different. The fan base is ready, and I don't know, Mission McKenna, baby. Like, that's all I care about.
And
And
hope
for-
you're not Buffalo. Buffalo did everything they could to get McDavid, and that probably is what set them back. Chicago did
We're
everything
all-
for Bedard, although they're doing better now.
We're already Buffalo, so if we become other Buffalo, like, oh well, like, I'll take that loss. I'll take it on the chin. Like,
Someone timestamp that and get ready for in 10 years when James is like, "Oh, why did we go such
Yeah.
a strong rebuild? We can throw this in his face."
hey, keep a couple veterans. Huberdeau's not going anywhere. Uyghur's probably not going anywhere. Backlund's not going anywhere. Keep your culture intact, but you don't need 75 veteran forwards and 65 middle six wingers. Like,
Yeah.
we're good. We're all good here. Just let's get some youth in the lineup and get rid of a couple guys, and then we're golden.
You got anything you wanna?
Well, for the Flames, when it comes to rebuilding, we're not asking for Rory Cairns on the first line because you tear everything down.
Actually, that would be nice. Yeah. I'm a believer.
And then
Give
for
him a
the Oilers,
chance.
Stuart Skinner, sorry, but you're not that guy. We love you, but you're not that guy.
At least he has nice pads. Did you see his
Good one.
alternate jersey pads? Those are sick.
No, I haven't.
Oh, there. Go look at them.
Okay.
He does have style. I've always liked his gear.
It looks good. Yeah.
I haven't liked the fact that it doesn't stop the puck as much, but it looks good when the puck's going by at least. All right. Well, thanks guys for this great discussion. Pretty low mood, I think, all around, but at least we got some laughs in. Because if
It's
you are
gonna
not
be
laughing
fine.
this time, and for all you listeners out there, hopefully you enjoyed it. Check us out where you get your podcasts, and remember that we do have blogs that we all write for. It's the Win column for the Flames and the Oil Rig for the Oilers. Check it out. Leave us some comments. Let us know how stupid we are either here or there, and we'll catch you next time. Good?
Yeah.